Today we are going to do an I-cord tab cast on. This cast on is useful for triangle shawls with an I-cord edging or anywhere where you want to have a seamless I-cord start to your project. To start, we're going to need a crochet hook and a little bit of waste yarn. We're going to start with a provisional cast on. So I am going to make a slip knot in my waste yarn here. And you don't need a long tail. This is the crochet provisional cast on. So you're going to place your slip knot on your crochet hook. Then you're going to take your needle. I have a little double pointed needle here. For this cast on, you're going to want to do either a double pointed needle or a circular needle because you'll need to slide the stitches back and forth to either end. So a single point needle won't work as well. So you're going to cross your crochet hook over your needle, take the working yarn from below, wrap it around your crochet hook, and then pull that through. So you now have a stitch on your needle. You're going to move the yarn back around below the needle and repeat that. So we're going to take the working yarn over the crochet hook, pull it through that loop, bring the yarn back around behind the needle. So we have 2 loops on our needle now. We're going to do it one more time. So I now have 3 stitches on my needle. The pattern I am basing this off of uses 3 stitches for the I-cord tab cast on, but if it calls for more stitches or less stitches, just do this step more or less. Then we're just going to crochet chain 1 and then 2 right here just to secure the waste yarn. Cut the waste yarn there. Oops. And draw that tail through that last stitch. So you now have 3 stitches on your needle in the waste yarn. So now we can take our other needle and our main yarn. Make sure you got your tail. And then you are just going to knit these 3 stitches normally. I knit them through the back loop because they are facing this way. As you can see, the stitch opens up with the back leg to the right. So I just knit it through the back loop to avoid twisting that stitch. That's our first row of I-cord, and now we are going to slide our stitches to the other end so that our working yarn is coming from the stitch that's furthest away from the tip of the needle. And this is just how you would work a standard I-cord. And we're just going to knit across these stitches again. Oops. There we go. So that was our second row. My pattern is calling for me to do 5 rows of I-cord. So that was our second. So I'm going to slide back to the other end to do my third row. Slide to do my 4th row. slide and do one more row to have 5 rows. So now we have our provisional cast on here, our 5 little rows of I-cord. We are going to knit across these stitches once more. Now we are not going to slide them back this time. We are going to pick up stitches along this top edge of the I-cord here. And we're going to knit into them. So my pattern is calling for me to pick up 4 stitches. So I'm going to grab this stitch just to the left of the last stitch on my right needle. I'm going to knit into it. Pick up the next one, knit into it. Pick up the next one, and you see I'm just picking up this one leg here on the top of the I-cord. Knitting into it through the back loop to keep from twisting those stitches. Okay, and we've picked up 3, so we've got one more. Pick up that last one, knit into it through the back loop. And so we now have our original 3 stitches from the I-cord, and then these additional 4 stitches that we've just picked up along the side of the I-cord. And now what we're going to do is we are going to undo the provisional cast on and pick up those stitches. So you can either untie your crochet chain, or if you prefer to cut the yarn, you can also do that. So when you're picking up your stitches here, you want to be really careful that you don't lose them. So it can be a little tricky, but you want to grab that stitch before pulling the waste yarn out. Grab that next stitch, pull the waste yarn out, grab that last stitch and pull the waste yarn completely out. So now I have my 3 stitches, and I am going to knit into those like normal. Keep that tail out of the way. These ones I'm knitting through the front loop because the stitches are facing the right direction. And there you have it, your I-cord tab cast on. So you can see here we have a nice little rounded point. If you were to knit a triangle shawl and knit, out in both directions like a traditional triangle shawl, this would become a straight line across the top of the shawl. But you can also knit a triangle shawl or triangle scarf just by knitting up like this, and you can keep your neat I-cord edge and start increasing your stitches in the middle 4 stitches there. And you can incorporate a pattern or whatever you like, really. But that is the I-cord tab cast on.